Welcome to Daily English Room. Today's topic is hometown. Where is your hometown?
I'm from Bled, a small town in northwestern Slovenia. It's famous for its stunning lake with a church on a tiny island and a medieval castle on a cliff.
How long have you lived there?
I've lived here for most of my 40 years, except for a brief period when I worked in Austria. As a tour guide, I couldn't imagine a better base. It's like living in a postcard.
What do you like most about your hometown?
The natural beauty is breathtaking. We have the lake, the Julian Alps as a backdrop, and pristine forests all around. Every season brings a different kind of beauty, from summer swimming to winter skating on the lake.
Has your hometown changed much since you were a child?
Yes, tourism has grown significantly since I was a child. We've seen more hotels and restaurants open, and activities like hiking and water sports have become more organized. But our strict environmental regulations have helped preserve the natural environment.
What do visitors, tourists like about your hometown?
Everyone falls in love with Lake Bled, especially the island church and castle. They also enjoy our local cream cake, called kremsnita. Adventure tourists appreciate our easy access to hiking, climbing, and water sports.
What's the most unique tradition or festival in your hometown?
In Bled, we have a unique winter tradition called the Bled Days and Nights Festival. The highlight is when we float thousands of lights on Lake Bled, with our medieval castle and the island church illuminated in the background. As a tour guide, I love explaining how these lights symbolize wishes for the coming year.
What's the biggest challenge someone might face when moving to your hometown?
Bled is beautiful but quite small, so career opportunities can be limited unless you work in tourism or are able to work remotely. In winter, it can get very quiet compared to the busy summer season. Also, while it's incredibly scenic, the cost of living is quite high because it's such a popular tourist destination.
What's a common misconception people have about your hometown?
Many tourists think Bled is only worth visiting in summer. Actually, each season here is magical in its own way. Winter brings ice skating on the lake when it freezes, spring has amazing wildflowers, and autumn turns our forests into gold. We're also more than just a pretty lake, we're a hub for adventure sports.
How do local people typically spend their weekends in your hometown?
In Bled, weekends are very outdoor focused. Locals often hike to Ostrika viewpoint for sunrise, then maybe row to the island church or cycle around the lake. In winter, we go cross-country skiing. Evening typically means gathering at local restaurants for traditional Slovenian food.
What's a local food specialty that visitors must try? Where's the best place to get it?
In Bled, you must try our cream cake called kremsnita. It's our local specialty with delicate layers of custard and cream. The best place is the Park Hotel Cafe, where it was originally created in 1953. They still use the original recipe, and the view of the lake while eating it is spectacular.
How has the younger generation influenced your hometown in recent years?
The younger generation in Bled has really pushed sustainable tourism. They've developed eco-friendly adventure sports companies, organic farmers markets, and zero-waste cafes. They're showing that you can preserve nature while making tourism more exciting and responsible.
If you could change one thing about your hometown, what would it be?
I'd make Bled more affordable for locals. Tourism has driven up prices significantly, making it difficult for young families to stay here. We need better housing policies that balance tourism development with local residents' needs.
How do you think climate change is affecting your hometown?
In Bled, we're seeing warmer winters with less snow, which affects our winter tourism. The lake's ecosystem is also changing. The positive side is that this has made our community very environmentally conscious. We're now leading many green initiatives in Slovenia.
What makes you most proud of your hometown?
I'm most proud of how Bled has managed to preserve its natural beauty despite being a major tourist destination. Our community has always prioritized protecting the environment. The lake is still clean enough to drink from, our forests are well preserved, and we've maintained strict building regulations to protect our alpine character.
How do seasonal changes affect daily life in your hometown?
Bled completely transforms with each season. Summer brings swimmers and rowing on the lake. Fall creates this incredible golden reflection of forests in the lake. Winter often freezes the lake, and sometimes we can even ice skate. Spring is for hiking as alpine flowers bloom. We joke that we live in 4 different towns throughout the year.
How has digital technology changed life in your hometown in the last 5 years?
In Bled, technology has revolutionized tourism management. We now have apps showing real-time parking availability and boat waiting times. Many local guides, including myself, use virtual reality to show visitors how the castle looked in different historical periods. It's helped us make tourism more sustainable.
What's a local legend or story that everyone in your hometown knows?
In Bled, we have the legend of the sunken bell. The story goes that a young widow had a bell cast for the island church in memory of her husband. But during its transport, a storm sank the boat and the bell. They say on quiet nights, you can still hear it ringing from the depths of the lake.
What's a common job or career in your hometown that might surprise outsiders?
In Bled, we have castle beekeepers, who maintain traditional beehives in Bled Castle's walls. There's also a unique profession called Pletner oarsmen. These are licensed boat operators who use traditional wooden boats to row visitors to the island church. The skill is often passed down through families.
How do people in your hometown typically celebrate important life events, weddings, graduations, etc.?
In Bled, many couples get married in boats in front of the island church. The groom traditionally carries the bride up the 99 steps for good luck. For graduations, there's a tradition of climbing to Bled Castle at sunrise with friends and family for a celebration breakfast.
What's a local custom or habit that visitors often find surprising?
In Bled, we have this tradition of morning lake swimming, even in winter. Visitors are often shocked to see locals taking their morning swim in the cold lake. Also, it's considered good luck to ring the church bell on the island 3 times while making a wish, but you have to pull the rope yourself.
How has your hometown influenced your career choice?
Living in Bled naturally led me to become a tour guide. I grew up watching tourists fall in love with our town's beauty, and I wanted to help them understand not just what they're seeing, but the stories behind everything. Plus, growing up in such a tourist-friendly place taught me how to connect with people from different cultures.
What's the best time of year to visit your hometown?
September in Bled is absolutely perfect. The summer crowds are gone, but it's still warm enough to swim in the lake. The autumn colors start appearing, creating beautiful reflections in the lake, and you can go hiking without the summer heat. It's also harvest time, so local restaurants serve special seasonal dishes.
What's a hidden gem in your hometown that most tourists miss?
Tourists focus on the lake, but few discover the Vintgar Gorge walking trail just outside Bled. It's especially magical in early morning when mist hangs over the turquoise water. There's also this family-run beekeeping museum in an old farmhouse where you can taste honey made from alpine flowers and learn about traditional beekeeping.
How do locals deal with tourism in your hometown?
In Bled, we've learned to embrace tourism while protecting our community. Many families rent rooms to tourists during summer but maintain private family spaces. We've created locals-only parking areas and special discount cards for residents. The key is that most tourist businesses are locally owned, so there's a sense of stewardship.
What's a current challenge your hometown is facing, and how are people working to solve it?
Bled's main challenge is becoming too expensive for locals. The community has responded by starting a local housing cooperative, where residents collectively buy properties to keep them affordable. We've also developed a locals first policy for new business licenses to ensure residents can still run shops in tourist areas.
What's a local tradition that's in danger of disappearing, and how are people trying to preserve it?
The traditional craft of wooden boat building for our Pletner boats was nearly lost. Now, there's a small school teaching young apprentices, combining traditional methods with modern tools. The local tourism board has also started promoting craftsman tours, where visitors can watch boat builders at work, helping make the profession financially viable again.
Would you recommend your hometown to someone looking to move there?
I would, particularly for people who love nature and outdoor activities. The quality of life is excellent, and we have good connections to Ljubljana and Austria. However, I should mention that winter can be quite long, and job opportunities outside tourism are limited.
That's all for today's daily English room conversation practice. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.